let's look at the language of algebra. So we've got this equation at the top here, 6a plus 3b take away 4 equals 2ab take away c plus 7, okay? So let's look at some of the terminology we use. So one of the terminology here is the idea of a constant. So a constant is something that doesn't change, okay? So a constant in this case will be here, the -4, okay? And also on this side, the +7, okay? So they are both constants, okay? There's no pro-numeral attached to either of those, so there's nothing to multiply them to make them change. They are just what they are. They are the value as it is, okay? Let's now look at the idea of a variable, okay? So a variable is something that changes, okay? And a variable will be represented by a pro-numeral. So the variables are those things that we can attach a new value to each time if we want to. So that'll be things like the A and the B and the C, and that we can attach a value to those to change them. So we can say that the A could be equal to 5, but we could make it equal to 10. Okay, so those variables are going to be these pro-numerals. Okay, we'll explore those in a moment, okay? We'll look at that now. Okay, so the pro-numerals in this one are these ones. Can't get the spelling of that right. So we have A, B, and C are our pro-numerals. Okay, and even when we put two of them together like this, AB, it doesn't make a new pro-numeral, it just means A multiplied by B, okay? So with all of these situations, whenever you see two letters together, so if we see A, B, it means A multiplied by B. Any other time that we're going to do something like A plus B, A take away B, or A divided by B, it would always have that sign shown in it, okay? But whenever we want to do multiplication, we just put them together, and that is the convention that we use. Just note with A divided by B, it's typically shown that we'll express that as a fraction in order to represent it. Okay, with our pro-numerals, we have a coefficient that comes before it, okay? So the coefficient for A in this case is 6, okay? So 6A, the 6 is the coefficient here, 3B, 3 is the coefficient, it's the number that comes before it, okay? 2AB, so the 2AB, the 2 is the coefficient, okay? And interestingly here, you've got this C, there's actually a 1 before that C, 1 multiplied by C, but we don't bother putting it in because 1 times C doesn't change it, so the convention is to not show it, okay? But if we said, what's the coefficient before the C, we would say it would be 1, okay? Would be the coefficient there. Now, lastly, the terms, okay? So in this particular equation, each section that is divided by a sign is a term on its own. So for example, 6A is a term, 3B is a term, -4 is a term, 2AB is a term, C is a term, and 7 is a term. So in this equation, there are 6 terms, okay? So if we're listing those, it'll be 6A, 3B, 4, 2AB, C, and 7, okay, would be our terms, okay? We put that negative there, okay? And then lastly, is it an equation or an expression? So we express these things in two ways. Firstly, there are expressions. So expressions, we don't have an equal sign. So the expression here is 6A plus 3B minus 4. That is an expression, okay? Then when we make it equal to something, in this case, etc., minus C plus 7, then it becomes an equation. So an equation has to have an equal sign, an expression doesn't have one.